Hey party people, how are we doing? I am feeling really good today. We are setting out a new email series. If you're not on the list, go and sign up for that. You can find the link on my website, which is in my bio. But we are going to be talking about how you can become your own human design mentor within that series. So it's really, really good. I've just wrote the first one. I say it's really good. I'm my own fan. But yeah, I've just finished that one. Hey Megan, hello. Oh my god, what's this, 2 days in a row? Did we just become best friends? I think we did. Yeah, I am so excited to talk about this topic today because it's been going off in my world with my clients, and it's something that I kind of overlooked because I was like, yeah, this is obvious, isn't it? And it's not obvious. You're at work again. You are the hardest working person I know. I swear to God, committed is the word that I would use to describe you. But I suppose weekends are going to be your best days for traffic into the shop, aren't they? So what I'm going to talk about, choosing easy with your human design. I have seen so many things on social media, and I think it's such a buzzword that people love to either use against other things. Like, there's all that polarizing content, isn't there? And like, people will be like, business gets to be easy, and then there's other coaches that are like, if you're reading posts from people saying it gets to be easy, then you are being manipulated. And it's just like, what the fuck am I supposed to believe? Like, everyone's just saying stuff to get some airtime, aren't they, right? So what I want to talk about is easy can happen in your business. I'm an advocate for that. I am living embodiment of that. However, it's a choice. Okay, and this is the little prerequisite that I want to add in here. Easy is a choice. Now, the reason it is a choice is because a conversation, so we'll backtrack a bit, I'll tell you about the conversation. The conversation happened when I was talking to the girls inside Cosmic Content, and one of the girls, I sent a voice note and I was like, hey, like, give us an update. I know you've been away for a couple of days, like, how are you feeling? Like, let me know. And she was like, I'll be completely honest, I've been looking at everything you've told me to look at, I've looked at my design, I've looked at everything, and I have found myself like looking for other strategies, thinking it's too good to be true. Like, I know all this, I can't just show up and like be me. Like, it has to be harder, right? And this was like a really interesting point for me. I was like, first of all, thank you so much for sharing that, because like, it takes a lot to actually say like, by the way, I'm in your program, and it doesn't feel like it's like right. But it was like she was confronting her resistance, and her resistance is the conditioning, which is like, social media tells us that we have to have like fucking funnels and like email series and like 5 presences and different platforms, and you're just like, how am I supposed to do this? So it's like there's a lot of that going on, right? And like things like hustle hard, bend over backwards for people, like work your fingers to the bone, like get up at 5 a.m. Everything sounds difficult. It sounds like you have to create these habits that don't come naturally to you, right? So it was obvious that this was going to come up, and it was a big resistance block for her. And one of the other girls then chimed in. She was like, I completely resonate with this. I feel exactly the same way. If you saw my stories that I did, one of the clients, I shared the results that she had, and she posted a reel following like all of the steps that we talked about. I say all the steps, she literally just had to show up as herself and like fuck off all the rest. And she had like 13,000 views on this reel, like within the space of like a couple of days. She booked a client and she felt so amazing. Hi lovely, is it Joelle? Hi, lovely to see you. So she had these results, and she was like, I completely resonate with you thinking that it can't be this easy, because I felt that same way, but like, I've got the results in front of me, it can be. And what this happens is, we always think that things have to be harder than it is. And a question that I've got, and I want to pose this to you guys, I want you to think about it as well. Where in your business are you, or in your life, right? Because I feel like human design, it doesn't just compartmentalize, is that the word? Into like, this is how it applies to life. Like, it's like your whole life, every area. Where are you fighting for the sake of fighting? Like, and what I mean by this is, where are you just trying to add in all these like extra steps because you think that that is what is going to get you success? And the reason I ask this is because like I said, we have these like ideas in our mind about like what it means to be on social media, right? And if it means to be on Instagram, then that means that we have to, you got a customer, no problem. That means that you have to like create reels, and then you need to create carousel posts, and then everyone's saying you need to entertain, inspire and educate, so you've got to create like you dressed up as a banana dancing to some TikTok trending song, or whatever. Like, it was fine during lockdown, FYI, like I did all of that in lockdown, but nowadays I'm like, I don't want to be doing all of that all the time. But like, our social media is telling us that we have to do this, right? And there's so many different ways of doing it. And post this in stories, but don't post that on your grid. And it's just like, it's exhausting, right? There's so many areas of this. Or like, to be successful in your life, you have to, most millionaires have 7 streams of income. So that means you need to have all of these streams of income. And you're just like, holy moly. There is all this stuff that I've got to do in my life, and it's just like, at what point do I actually incorporate self-care into this? Because you are also telling me that I need to take care of myself and my brain, and it's just a lot. Does anyone else feel like this? It's just a lot. I feel like it's a lot to even talk about this. I'm getting out of breath. So I just want you to ask yourself, where do you feel like you are adding in unnecessary steps? And if you're not aware of this, I want you to look at maybe like your marketing strategy or your business strategy or your services or what you're offering to people, and have a conversation with someone that you trust, right? Or send yourself voice notes on WhatsApp. I do this all the time, because when you can hear it back, you can then use a bit of your intuition to be like, oh yeah, why am I doing that? That sounds like an unnecessary step. My husband's really good at this because he's a projector and I'm a generator, and generator projector like collaborations are really, really beneficial for this, because they can, projectors like see where the generator is just like trying to be crazy with all of the energy and do all these unnecessary steps. So he'll be like, okay, well, why are you doing that? Like, can we rein this in a little bit? Like, come on. So, because I do it, like I absolutely do it. And even like this week in therapy, at the end of the session on Wednesday, she was saying to me, she was like, you did really, really good, you know, we got through the trauma that we were talking about, and you didn't feel like you needed to be grounded or pulled out of it, so it was like, you've really progressed. And I said to her, I was like, is there something wrong with me? And she was like, what do you mean? And I was like, because it felt easier than I thought it had to be. And she's like, well, why can't it just be easier than you thought it had to be, right? So it's this same energy that I want you to think about with like your marketing and your business and how you're putting yourself out there. And like, I feel like that's a sign. Can we just take a deep breath? Because it's just a lot. And I feel like we've already got so many different things that we're juggling. Like, I have a 7-month-old that like is attached to me most of the time if he's not napping like he is upstairs. I've got a 4-year-old, I've got like other stuff that's going on, and I just don't need to be adding in unnecessary stress. And whether you have kids or not, or commitments or whatever, you don't need to be adding in stress either. Like, you can choose easy because it is a choice, and that doesn't mean that it's going to be easy when you first choose it. You are still going to have to put in, you know, some commitment. You're going to have to put in some work to be like, this is something that I want to achieve, like this is the lifestyle that I want, and this is how I want things to run, because I feel it in my, you know, I've used my strategy and my authority, and I feel like in my gut, like this is what I need to do and what's right for me. And you have to make your strategy based on easy. So how do you want to do that? Like, what do you want that to look like? Go after that. That first part, that deciding that you want it to be easy and deciding to get off of the struggle bus, is the hardest thing that you will ever do. But when you do it and you get past it, and once you've done it once, you're just like, oh my god, yeah, it's not that bad, is it? Like, I can actually just do a couple of hours of work and then nothing for the rest of the week. I've got my priorities sorted, I've ticked them off. That's how it can be. But choosing easy is a very difficult thing to begin with, but in the long run, that is where we want it to be. We want it to be like, this is just normal. This is like, we don't need to second guess ourselves with this anymore. And yeah, so that's just kind of like the message that I want to talk about, because it was every single girl, it was every woman in my private container was saying like, I completely resonate with this. Like, I feel like I'm trying to make it harder than it actually has to be, because surely it's not enough for me to just show up as myself. But if you look at my highlights and you see those stories that I've posted, because I saved them there, you will see the results that come from choosing easy. Now, these women within this group have done the work for the past 3 weeks, and now they are seeing these results pay off. So what I'm saying with this is, when you choose it, you have to commit to it, and then that is when you're going to be able to see the results come back from it, because you've consistently chose for it to be that way. And I think a lot of people, when they think easy means like less or something like that, like you've got to work hard to have more, like, no, when you choose easy, you choose the way that it's a reflection of you and like who you are and what you want, and that is the best way to be, because you don't have to think about how you're putting something out there, because it's just a reflection of who you naturally are. And that is a very, very nice place to be. Very, very nice place to be. So I hope this helps some people that could get, like, just to reconfirm this, choose easy. Ask yourself where you're being unnecessary with like steps that you're trying to add into place, and thinking, oh, I should probably show up like that, or I should probably do this, or that successful person that I follow that I really love does this, so you know, I should probably do that as well, because like it's an industry thing. Like, ask yourself where you're doing that, and then just like grab it, put it in the bin, and then start your slate fresh. So that is exactly what we're all about in the Gen U Academy. And if that feels like something you want to do, if you want to choose easy, I want you to join the Academy. I want you to do this with me for the full year and be in a Voxer group with me, where we can have these conversations and we can support one another, and I can call you out with the most love in the world about where I think that you're just being unnecessary with stuff that you don't need in your life. Yeah, and then you get access to all of the programs as well, so it's just chef's kiss. So yeah, if anyone wants any questions about that, feel free to DM me, we can have a chat. Otherwise, the link is in the bio, and I hope you guys have a lovely weekend or day whenever you watch this.